Good morning. Good morning. Glad to see all these smiling faces this morning. We have a real special treat today. Linda Ridley will be giving us our message. And of course, our wonderful accompanist. And of course, the choir will be singing today. My name is Linda Ballard. I'm the greeter this morning. And if you would like to turn to opening hymn number 1 in your hymnals. Wonderful job. Now is the time that we give a couple minutes of our time to remember some of the people that really need some prayers right now. So kind of search your heart and include anyone that you possibly know that might need some prayer this morning. Thank you so much. Now, if the choir would like to come up, we will be singing the insert, which is Surely the Presence of the Lord in this place. At any time the congregation would like to join in, please do. Power in His grace. folder is on the inside of your bulletin. We are now in the presence of pure being, immersed in the Holy Spirit of life, love, and wisdom. We acknowledge thy presence and thy power, O blessed Spirit. In thy divine wisdom now, erase our mortal limitations, and from thy pure substance of love, bring into manifestation our world according to thy perfect law. The Lord's Prayer. Now for our meditation.
Let us get comfortable, whatever position that may be for you. As you're sitting in your seat, open yourself up to that divine mind, to that energy that is available to us all. Open up your mind to learn new things. As today, we're going to look at our story of creation, how that came to be. What is the true story of creation? Is it what we learned, or is it beyond that? We're going to look at some metaphysical interpretation of the creation story and how that story connects with us, our life personally, the ones that we love, family, friends, the community, and Unity East Church. Go within and visualize in your mind all that you have come through in your lifetime. I know that many of you are like me. We've had a few years put on us over a time period. And we aren't done yet. There's so much that we can do, that we can create. We are so blessed to have an opportunity to get together as a community of like-minded people and celebrate life, the creation of the universe, the creation of faith, of believing, looking at our imagination. We are so thankful for all that we have, all that we've been through, even the challenging times. And we know that we are blessed with many, many more moments. Each moment is actually a miracle. And you've all had many, many, many miracles in your life. And even today is another miracle. We are very, very thankful. Let us just take a moment and reflect upon our blessings and what we are thankful for. And in the silence with the music playing, let us do that right now. Truly, the Holy Spirit is in this place, in each and every one of you, and those of you that are watching us, seeing us at another time in your space. We bless you as well, and look forward to sharing each and everyone's story of creation. And to that, let us say, Amen.
Congregation would like to turn to number 89 in their hymnal. You can join us by singing In the Garden.
Here
such a beautiful song. And some people ask, was there really a Garden of Eden? I challenge you to reread the creation story in Genesis 1 and Genesis 2, 1 through 3. And there's some of the creation story also in the Christian scriptures. I do not refer to the book of Genesis as being in the Bible. And the reason that Unity does not do that is because what we were brought up to believe, the Bible, is actually what Unity and New Thought calls the Hebrew Scriptures. Why do we do that? Because, folks, I want to tell you there's more than one Bible out there. The Bible has been written and rewritten again, and changed many, many times. As we're going to look at today with the creation story. Unity recommends to use the Bible that is a revised edition and is called the New Revised Edition, not King James, because that's not how Unity and New Thought thinks. And they've done a lot of research over the years. Spiritual leaders, religious leaders, philosophers, many others, professors in colleges and universities, and they looked at the different thoughts, beliefs, writings that were put out there, and they found a lot of what we have learned is really not what was actually true and actually in reality written. Let's look at our story of creation and how our, meaning Unity people, New Thought people, and there's a new term that's come out for fundamentalists. I call them fundies, F-U-N-D-I-E-S. I never heard that before, but I was reading about that. So I recommend that you do Google the story of Genesis, the story of creation. And we're going to look at that. And I'm also going to look at the metaphysical interpretation of the creation story. One thing that I want to remind you again is to open your mind and get rid of all of those old beliefs and thoughts so that you've got room for new thoughts. And don't just take what I'm saying or what other religious and spiritual leaders are saying. Do some research, read up on it. Remember that George Bernard Shaw said this very, very well. Progress is impossible without change. And that those who cannot change their minds cannot change anything. So you have to keep an open mind and be willing to change. Looking at some interesting approximate milestones before the Common Era. 4.4 billion ago, Earth was created according to geological evidence. I never argue with anybody about their beliefs because everybody has different beliefs and we're all evolving at different times. And it's so important to be respectful of that. But we know according to geological evidence, and I'll buy that. That's there. 1 million years ago, Homo erectus develops. That's 1 million years ago. The year of the creation was written in 5508, and it was adopted in the 7th century by Constantinople, which many of us remember. That was the beginning of things rewritten. and tried to bring everything in all these different religions together and all these holidays, making them fun days, congregational holidays there. The first 5 books of the Hebrew Scriptures, they are actually stories representing a combination of myths, folk tales, and, here's no surprise, political propaganda. We know that's the truth, right? Only there's the slightest bit of any actual historical memory. And if you think about it, our history was passed on for 900 years before it was written down. How many of you have played that little game where you get in a circle and you say something and you go around and what does it end up to be 900 years later? Is it what was stated? No, it's not even possible. And we have to remind ourselves of that and update what we have learned in the past. So very, very important there. In a great book, reading the Bible again for the first time, I quote this: calling these chapters in the Hebrew Scriptures in Genesis, calling them prehistory means that they are not to be read as historical accounts. Let me say that again. They're not to be read as historical accounts. And those Hebrew Scriptures are not chronological. Have you tried to read them? And your mind is, woo, wait a minute, didn't that happen way back when, as you're reading? And that's just the way it is. But it's important to read them as a particular kind of metaphorical narrative. Because a lot of times in history, what was written down, of course, was whoever was in power, political propaganda again, whoever was in power at the time would write down. It's kind of like after a war. The winners of the war, they write the story. And quite often, various myths that we read in folklore may be more true than what the actual history that is written down. I know that's sad, but folks, that's the way it is. Some people are not into reading the Bible, Hebrew Scriptures or Christian Scriptures or any other, the Quran, the Kabbalah, just learning different other religions because they all have different sayings and different beliefs. And some people just say, well, I'm just going to throw that out. And those of you who have attended the Women of the Bible classes that we've been doing realize that every story within those Hebrew and Christian scriptures can help us learn something. Notice I don't say teach us. Nobody can teach us anything. They can help us learn. They can make information available. They can open our minds. They can motivate us. But to teach somebody something is just to making it available. And to me, teaching and education is not just giving information. You can give information about the women of the Bible. You can give information about Genesis. A real true teacher and educator is someone who is going to make you think. How many of you have had teachers that got you thinking? And other teachers gave you this information to bring back around and repeat, reiterate, regurgitate. Oh, excuse me, but it's true, right? And even today, various churches and religions brag about how many passages in scriptures people can repeat. How much do they really know about what they're repeating? Well, that is sad, But that is so true. So remember all of that looking at the Bible, Hebrew scriptures, Christian scriptures, looking at reading new books that are available that you can learn from, because it's very rich. There's so much information now that you can Google. For instance, the Garden of Eden. You wonder where the Garden of Eden was. It really there? I went in and Googled. This is a hint. If you're looking for something and you're trying to understand something, and if you want to see pictures, you go in and you Google free images, Garden of Eden map. Actually, there are two different maps, because they have a lot of different beliefs where the Garden of Eden actually is. And I'm not going to get into that in depth, but I do encourage you to take some time and think about that. And any other questions that you have, just don't come to a church, a class, a service, whatever, and not leave with your open mind and questioning. There's so much nowadays that is available. I mean, if you wish, when most of us are been around a few years, when we had to do book reports or we had to research something, you could only do it at the library, or if you had encyclopedias at home, that was your only option. These kids today, I'm telling you. They can Google anything and come up with information and make copies of the pictures of the maps. And I'm going to have those, and I'm going to leave some of the notes on here. I'm going to leave them on the display table. And there's a couple of articles in there if somebody's really interested and wants to open up their mind and learn more stuff. Then I'm going to have that available there. The story of creation. When did it begin? Who knows? There are some things that they didn't tell us. And that is, we know Genesis means, actual term means beginning. So that is definitely the beginning. But the beginning of what? People see those 7 days, they call them days of creation. No. When they have looked at the word that was written at the beginning, it is not day. It doesn't mean day. It means a time period. It means age. That's what it means. Now think about those 7 ages of creation. Doesn't that make more sense? Then in 7 days, God created this universe and everything in it. It's a period of time. It's ages. And what a difference when you look at it in that manner. I am going to go through in the metaphysical interpretation, throwing in a little bit of what we have learned in the past of the actual history of the creation story that we learned. And I'm going to reinterpret it metaphysically. I'm not calling those 7 days, as they used to call them. I'm calling them steps. And I want you to think about in your life how you can take those 7 steps and make your life better. And many of you have already done that. What was step 1 in the story of creation? It was light. Bring on the light. And God said, let there be light, and there was light. That's how we learned it in Genesis 1:19. Light, what does that mean? It's the awakening of our spiritual consciousness. I believe in my mind and in my heart that every single one of you who our unity and new thought have done that step. You've awakened. You're not believing all that old stuff that you learned. You are awakening your spiritual consciousness. And that comes forth as intelligence and an awareness. Symbolically, there are day or light, which is a state of mind where intelligence dominates. And some days we're there. Some days we are awake and aware, and our intelligence is right on, and we are connected to that spiritual consciousness. Other times we might find the night, the darkness, and those were the realms of thoughts that are not illuminated. Unity looks at our consciousness as spiritual consciousness, which is connecting with the divine idea mind, and sense consciousness. And I want you to raise your hand, please, right now. Do not raise your hand, but I have a question for you. How many of you have lived part of your life in sense consciousness, where you're just enjoying life and maybe drinking, some people maybe doing drugs, some people gallivanting around and not connected to spirit and not going into that spiritual consciousness. Our goal is to, of course, be in spiritual consciousness, and that's the day. That's our light illuminating. And sometimes you got to stop and bring yourself out of that sense consciousness. Very, very important. The second step is faith. Faith is seen metaphysically as the creation of the development of the firmament. In Genesis it says, "Let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters," and that's the second step. The firmament, the separation of the waters. Having faith is so important, and it's a deep inner knowing. And every day we come into having faith and we lose it sometimes, and we've got to stop and bring ourselves back. Or we might need other people to help us do that and to reach out to them. Our firmament represents that which works in the midst of all possibilities and potentials with life. All possibilities and potentials. Infinite potentials. Infinite potentials. Each and every one of you have gifts and talents. And if you so choose to bring me back, that's what I would talk about next time, our gifts and the talents. Again, using scripture, because there's so much in there. But I look out and here, and I see those gifts. I see people that are in the choir, singers, drummers. I see people that have technical advantages and gifts, and I envy them so much. I know I'm not pointing any fingers. I know someone here who's a poet. They know it, but they're not stepping up and sharing all of that poetry that's in their heart. I hope they write a book. There are people here who are musicians, who can write songs. There are people here who are great on the computer, mathematicians. Everybody has a gift. I hope that you will do step number 3 in the creation, when that is imagination. I've always been accused of having a really good imagination, and that's true. I truly, truly do. And that is step 3. In Genesis it says, "Let the waters under the heavens be gathered together into one place, and let the dry land appear." And it was so. You can imagine in our life, we begin that formative activity of ideas. There are times, and I said to Reverend Greg Coles, and he is the representative for Great Lakes, regional representative here for Unity in this area, and the whole Great Lakes area. I keep getting these ideas. Greg, I'm getting too many ideas. And we all feel like that, right, at times. That all of these divine ideas are coming through in our imagination. And that's what makes a difference in the world. But let us shape our desired good in consciousness and let that imagination move on, step forward, understanding and will. It's the development of the two great lights, the sun and the moon. Let there be lights in the firmament of the heavens to separate the day from the night. Metaphysically, the sun, or understanding, is that spiritual I am. You all are spiritual, that I am. And many of you walk into this place and bring sunshine, and I thank you for that. Just, don't you feel that? Don't you just look around and when you're walking in here and you just smile and somebody smiles at you and you just kind of feel like the sunshine is radiating off them? Well, it's probably radiating off you too. That sun, it's there. The moon, or the will, is the intellect. And thoughts blend with other thoughts of a kind or character, and they tend to reproduce themselves. And in this step, this is a characteristic of the law of mind action. And we've all learned about the mind action within unity. We talk about that in the New Thought, the law of mind action. That is part of our unity principles as well. I just want to remind you, it's not just one or two times of those thoughts. And it's not just thoughts, it's thoughts, feelings, beliefs, attitudes. They all make a difference. And if you have one negative thought, that's okay. Just don't stay there. Get out of that negative thinking. Stinking thinking, right? That's what a lot of us call it. Stop that stinking thinking. But remember, bring out some more positive things, because it takes a lot of positive energy to delete and get rid of the negative stuff, doesn't it? And those of us who've been brought up in challenges, there's a lot of negative energy out there. If you are having those negative thoughts once or twice, try to stop them. But don't believe that once or twice is going to make total difference. It's the continuous ongoing. And some people in mind action don't quite get that. So I want to remind you, it's just think about thoughts, feelings, attitudes, beliefs. And it's not just one or two, it's the ongoing one. So you want to get rid of the negative and bring on the positive. The fifth step that you can do in your life to make a difference is bringing forth the sensation and discrimination. Some people call it judgment. I don't like to call it judgment. Don't we do too much judging? Don't you just, you have people that you know and they're always judging and gossiping and commenting, and I like the term discernment. And you know that's one of our 12 powers, discernment. And these ideas must be based on spiritual understanding again. And if we go back to Genesis, let the waters spring forth swarms of living creatures, and let birds fly above the earth across the dome of the sky. What are creatures? Metaphysically, creatures are thoughts. They are thoughts. Let's bring forward thoughts in our creation, in our story of creation. And the birds are ideas approaching spiritual understanding. Let us bring forth thoughts of spiritual and ideas of spiritual understanding. Let's stay in that spiritual consciousness, not so much, preferably not at all, that sense consciousness, where like there's just no harmony when you're living in sense consciousness. And I've been there. I was brought up in there. It took many, many years to come out of there. And that's where if you are open, your mind is open, and you're learning, and you're wanting to learn, and you're researching and finding out more information, you're more apt to get there and to stay there. And your life will be in much more harmony. It will flow. The sixth step in our creation, our story of creation, is wisdom and love. Here's going to bring some challenges here for you to think about. In Genesis it says, "Let us make man in our image and likeness." So God created man in his own image. Now it's written male and female, but I'm telling you, that's not what it really meant. It meant feminine and masculine. This may be a surprise to some of you, but we all have feminine and masculine aspects in us. I obviously am a female, just in case you haven't noticed that. I'm definitely all woman, right? No, I have some masculine traits in me. And the feminine is the love, the understanding. And for women, that's really feminine part of it. But also a lot of men have that too. They have love and understanding. And the masculine part of us is considered to be the wisdom. But we also, us women, we have wisdom, right? So it's the feminine and the masculine of both of us. And then I'm also going to share with you something, and you could look this up and research, preferably a New Thought, Unity thought, is that it does not say in the Bible that a rib was taken out of Adam. It does not say that. The actual word that is used means beside, alongside of Adam. Not a rib out of Adam. Men and women have the same amount of ribs. If a rib was taken out of Adam, he ought to have one less rib, right? All men should have one less rib. No, we all have the same numbers of ribs. The seventh step in our creation is the Sabbath. And most of us think of the Sabbath as Sunday, as a day of rest. And the Sabbath does symbolize willing rest, but it's actually an inner resting rather than a not doing. You can do something on Sunday, folks. Just take some rest every day. And stop and think about the Sabbath. It's a symbol of that process within true creativity that can happen any day of the week, at any time. And how do we do that? I am asking you, in your story of creation, that step, take it throughout the day. Not just on Sunday, but every day, take a moment, take some inner rest, go into the silence, and use prayer and meditation. We're so honored that on Wednesdays we have Reverend Anita doing Zoom where we can pray together. Anytime that Reverend Anita or Reverend Ben is here, if you ask them, they'd be happy to pray with you. I encourage you to have a prayer partner if you don't have one. And it may be your spouse. It may be a good friend. Be sure that it's somebody that is positive and that can help you create a better story. When I look back at my life and I think, wow, I've done a lot of things in my story of creation. I'm not done yet. Oh no. And I encourage none of you because some of you are actually younger than me. Some of you are older, but that's okay. You have all these talents and all of these gifts that you can bring forward. And many of you are already bringing those forward here at Unity East Church and have been for quite a while, or even in other places that you have been doing that. I'm not stopping. When I was younger, in my 20s and 30s, I left a small community where going to college was not even heard of, and I was I was the first in the family to graduate from college, and went on and did more things. My mother kind of lived vicariously through me, which this was a small rural community. She had 6 children, living children, and she had joy living through her children and what they were doing. And other people might come and see her out and about at a wedding or some gathering, even at the store, and say, "What is Linda up to now?" And that's still, my mother is no longer with us, but those who know me will say that. What is Linda up to now? Well, I'm telling you, when it comes time for my transformation, for the end of my time in this dimension, on this earth plane, I'm going to reminisce and I'm going to smile about all those places that I went to and traveled and all those things that I did and all those people I knew and the loves of my life. I'm just going to sit back and smile, and if I have time, I'll have a celebration of life and bring all of my friends and family and Unity and other people that I've known over the years, bring them all together and celebrate my life. Because I'm telling you, when it's time for my transformation, I'm not going to go in quietly. I'm not going to be some little old lady that does that. Oh, no. I am going to be sliding into home base, and I'm going to say to everybody, I'm just going to smile and say, what a ride. And I hope that you all do the same. Thank you. Thanks. I need some help there, a little hint there. Tithes and offerings. Let us get our little envelope out, or you don't even have to have an envelope. Get your gift out. And I firmly believe in prosperity. And sometimes I hear people saying, we need more prosperity. But when I look back and I see the prosperity that has come about in this church, it is amazing if you think about prosperity that has happened over the years. Let us take that and affirm divine love as me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. I'm going to add to that, folks, because I love this part. And this is so true of many people here. I give joyfully and easily, for the universe is my source, and abundance is my nature. And Jack Boland would say, and so it is, right? Thank you very much.
Okay, if you would like to join with the choir on hymn number 183.
I am
today? Are we all family? Wonderful, wonderful. There's just 3 quick announcements that I want to make. The new prayer circle with Reverend Anita. See the information on the reoccurring events. The ice cream social is August 21st after the service. And don't forget to sign up for the snacks and goodies. They're definitely appreciated for every Sunday. Also, we have a message from the stewardship meeting, the notes by Linda Geipel, our president.
Thank you. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
All right. The stewardship meeting was last Wednesday morning. And first, before I start with that, I want to thank everybody that came to the program on Friday night. We had a wonderful time. The band was super, the snacks were super. We appreciate everybody that donated snacks, and it was just a great time. Next month, we're going to have another music concert with Tony Camilletti, and I have the tickets today if anybody would like to purchase them. Painting the labyrinth is one of the things we talked about. After discussion, we've been talking about this labyrinth, and I apologize for that. I just wanted to put this on till spring. We're going to make sure that the asphalt is in good shape. We're going to seal any cracks. Reverend Ben has a friend that he has done labyrinths before, and so he's going to look at the property and make sure everything is good. So we've decided to hold off on that until early spring, but we'll definitely get it done in the spring. The women's and men's group, Marianne Catoni is the lead on this, and she originally had a speaker for the first meeting who was an astrologer. It was supposed to be the third Thursday of the month. We were going to meet, and when the speaker heard the date, she said, Mercury is in retrograde. So maybe we should change that date. Okay. So I'm not sure the exact date, but there will be an email going out when we find out exactly. As for the men's group, we have to talk to the 3 brave souls that signed up and to see how they want to handle it. We will update you on that also. And I wanted to just talk about the prayer group, but it's been mentioned twice. It is doing well, and we're still, even if you don't have huge problems, maybe you have little problems, maybe you have things that you want to be grateful for or thank God for, those are good things to be praying about also. So, and it's really easy to get into the website, and it said, I looked on the bulletin, and it says, wait, where is it at? Connie, can you just explain?
Yeah, if you need, there's an email in the bulletin. If you email that, I'll send you the link. I think going forward, you want me to just send it out with the announcement for it, right?
Yes.
I'm going to talk to Anita about that, but one way or the other, we'll make sure you get in.
Yeah. So this week, if you want to go to the prayer group and you want to get in, you can email in the bulletin, and then after that, I think we're just going to put the information in the bulletin and maybe on the website, because
I can have to start to walk.
and that was kind of a worry for me, but I think it'll be fine. I think I'm just going to keep in mind that everything is going to be perfect at that prayer group. I am affirming it. I am claiming it. All right. So our board and leadership workshop in Farmington Hills is Saturday, October 1st, and I want to thank everybody that signed up for that, and that will be joining us. The sound system meeting will be next Monday on August 22nd. The sound committee will be meeting with Paul Fryright, and then as soon as we do that, we can start specifically on getting the sound system together. Painting the sanctuary, I got 3 estimates, and I chose Greg Dimmer to do the job. He comes highly recommended. The person that recommended said he does meticulous work, but he's a little slow, which kind of made me a little worried, but I talked to him about it, and he says, I need 2 other pages, so it's going to be okay. I'm like, okay. And so he said he's going to start on a Monday, and then it should be finished on a Friday, so everybody cross your fingers. And then I just want to mention a long-range plan we have. This is Reverend Anita's wonderful ideas, is to have a large TV screen up here, and then it will have all the information that's in the bulletin, and it will have the prayers and everything that goes on in that. And we'll all be able to see it, and it'll be great. So, most darn televisions cost money, you know? Anyway, there's more information to that to follow. Also, Reverend Anita is having a birthday fundraiser on Facebook. So if you would like to make a donation towards the television, go to Facebook and it will show you how. Finally, you know, our copy machine is so old that the toner, they don't make any of the toner cartridges anymore. That's how old it is. So we're going to be looking at getting a new copy machine within the next few months, and Betty is pricing them out. I do have the Daily Word and Unity magazines for purchase. They're on the glass case in the book corner. And I just wanted to, you know, every month we not only support our church, but we also support GLRC and Silent Unity and Unity Worldwide Ministries. It's not a lot, but it's what we can afford. So anyway, and they're very gracious about sending us a thank you each month. So I just want to read a little bit of it. It says, you and your congregation are dear to our hearts. We see you as beacons of light that illumine the world, and we are grateful for you. We celebrate your divine light that radiates out to all who are seeking to know their divine identity. As we pray for you and everyone in your center, we see you letting your light shine to guide you in all you do and to bless others. We truly appreciate your $25 gift to Silent Unity. You contribute to our work in a significant way by helping us encourage people who desire to grow spiritual awareness and understanding. By expressing your inner light, you help make the world a better place. Thank you for your loving light in our lives and in the lives of everyone in your community. We appreciate you. So I wanted to read that because it's not the board that's doing it, it's all of you guys that are doing it, and we appreciate you. And that's the story this week. Thank you very much. I think it's time for the run it out for the peace song. And I know I sound like a stinker, but it's better if you don't hold hands because that virus is still going around. So cross your okay.
Free. we are God's